Selections have now been made on this Sunday. The NCAA bracket is set. Joining us to discuss, CBS Sports college basketball analyst Seth Davis. Seth, good to have you here.
Good to be
on the
here.
Evening News. Let's start with this biggest surprise of the selection.
My biggest surprise was UCLA getting into the tournament. It was a team that had only had one win on the road against a team ranked in the top 100 of the computer rankings, just a couple of decent home wins, really didn't pass the eye test, and it raises the issue of, do these teams from these big major conferences have an unfair advantage because they have a lot of good teams on their schedule before they even try to find other games, whereas the Murray States of the world, which went undefeated in its own league, didn't have the same strength of schedule and therefore was excluded.
Kentucky goes in as the overwhelming favorite, the #1 overall seed, an undefeated season. Who's Kentucky's biggest challenge potentially?
Well, I think they could have a real potential challenge against either Arizona or Wisconsin in the Final Four. I think once they get to Indianapolis, assuming they get there, and I think that they will. But, you know, Notre Dame is a team that played very well down the stretch, just won the ACC conference tournament. They beat Duke and North Carolina to win the ACC tournament. They're really, really good at shooting the basketball, have a great scoring point guard in Jaren Grant. Maybe they pull off the shock of the century.
Your Final Four includes what teams?
Well, don't hold me to this. No blaming for anybody, okay?
Never.
That's the rule. But I like Kentucky. I like Arizona to beat Wisconsin coming out of the West. I like Duke coming out of the South. And then my surprise pick, somewhat upset pick, is Northern Iowa as the 5 seed to come out of the East. The Panthers lost only 3 games this year, won the Missouri Valley Conference. They have an All-American forward named Seth, so I'm Seth Davis. He's Seth Tuttle, and I think that they're going to be the surprise of the tournament.
But they would have to take out Villanova and Virginia potentially to get there.
Certainly potentially, although now Virginia having to play Michigan State, which gave Wisconsin a very tough test, took Wisconsin to overtime in the final of the Big Ten tournament. Virginia and Michigan State played a great game in the Sweet 16 last year. For a second-round game, that's sensational.
Real quickly, a potential Cinderella for you.
Well, I mentioned Northern Iowa, so there's your Final Four. But SMU is a school coached by Larry Brown, who coached at the Knicks and the Pistons and the Spurs and a million other places, took Kansas to a national championship, took UCLA to a Final Four, has a pretty good team. They were the big surprise last year at getting snubbed. This year they won their conference, and I think that they could be paired against Gonzaga in the Sweet 16, which is a favorable matchup for SMU. I like them to go to the Elite 8 and lose to Duke, and once again, no blaming.
Seth Davis, never. Thank you very much, sir.